This next video I'm going to show is the rectangular granny square. It's the one they used in their little baby jacket, which is right here, and I'll get into that a little bit later. For now, we're just going to work with the granny square itself. I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't slip on me, because as I'm working, it has a tendency to slip. So I'll do that. Now it's safe. Now, I wasn't able to find 3 shades of pink out in my shop of the same yarn, but I did find a light pink, a medium pink, so I put an off-white with it, which turned out to be a really cute combination. The primary will be in the off-white, which would be the yoke, and as you can see, the granny squares, it's used twice in the square itself. As you can see here in the picture, this is where I'm doing the white, or the off-white, and the 2 shades of pink are right in that area. I just like to always use the same yarn throughout, because when you mix your yarns, as you've seen in the past, when I put a red heart with an encore, the red heart was thicker and it caused it to be a little distorted. Unfortunately, I did it in another one, which will be the next video coming up, but I didn't use that much, so that's good. All right, so with this one, we've got the lightest color here and the lightest color here, and 2 different shades in the middle. Now they've done it in 3 other colors, because they use color A, B, and C. You have to choose which is A, B, and C. I chose the middle of and the last one is A. Round 2 is B, which is a middle pink, and round 3 is C, which is a darker pink. It's an easy little pattern to do, and you'll enjoy making it. Now this jacket requires 12 for the jacket and 3 for the hat, so you need 15. But I'll go ahead and start. Like it says, start with a chain 2. You can see I put my little cheat note here that I did color A is white. Okay, so now we do, well, let me make this tail a little longer. I have a reason for making the tail a little longer. I'll show you when we get to that point. So let me do my little slip knot. Chain 12. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then you want to do a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, which, let's see, they said 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, because they say the chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. Now the way they've started it with their wording is roughly the same, but yet it shows a little different. Like, see, there's your chain. They want you to do a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. I don't know why they didn't say it. They just said 2 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Oh, in 4th chain from the hook. So they added at the end instead of at the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to do 2 doubles. Now this hole is going to get big, but we have a way to fix that. Okay, so there's your 2, then we want to chain 2. Everything on this pattern is a chain 2. Do 3 more double crochets. This is making our pink corner there. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, then there's a chain 2. If you're looking at the picture, we did that one, chain 2, this one, chain 2. Now we're doing the last one, which is the last one of the corner. 1, 2, and then 1 more makes 3. Okay, then the next thing it says to do, chain 2, skip next 2 chains and 1 double in each of the next 3. So we're going to chain 2, skip next 2, which is 1, 2. We do a double crochet in the 3rd one, double crochet in the 4th one, and double crochet in the 5th one. That's your 3 double crochets in the next 3 chains. And here's your corner. So now we're going to come over here, skip 2. We're going to do this corner double crochet thing again, which is this right here. Chain 2, 3 double crochets, and then chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same hole, because now it's a hole, but I have a way to fix that, and I'll show you that when I get to that part. 2, 3, chain 2. Now this part I usually try to catch some of the tail inside this last set of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. But don't do anything with the rest of this tail. We have a use for it. Now we're going to chain 2 and do 1 double in each of these 3 doubles. I know I'm not showing you on the pattern, but you can see it. It would be next 3, okay, right there we did that. Work in opposite side of foundation, chain 2, skip next 2 chains, 1 double in each of the next 3. That's the one we just did. And that would be on the back. That's the side we're doing now. And with the 3 double crochets already established on the first side, which is this side here. Okay, so we're going to do those 3. 1 more. And then, for some reason, if I chain 2 at this point, I get a bigger hole. So I have to chain 1, slip stitch in the top of your chain, first chain 3. I finish it off. Okay, and this is how I finish this, so these are not big holes. I'll show you how I do that. Let me enlarge this a little bit. Grab my needle, thread my yarn into my needle, turn the work over, bring the yarn through one of the double crochets and into the bottom. And into the bottom. But don't pull it tight because you want this to stay fairly level. Then you go through the ring. Keep going, go all the way around. And then we can pull it. And that just closed up the hole. Then I usually kind of like back up and go forward a little bit. Then I back up and go forward a little bit. That kind of locks it in place. So now the hole is definitely a lot smaller. You can pull it tighter. I can't pull it tight now because I've locked it, but before you finish it, you can always pull it a little bit tighter. That way it looks more like this one. Now we'll do the same thing for the other one. We'll see if we can get this one a little tighter. Now since it's already down here along the bottom edge, we don't have to fish it through this down one of the sides. We just fish it through the bottom of the double crochets. And pull it tight. I don't want to pull it super tight because I want it to kind of look like this one. So you can back up a little bit, kind of locks it in place. Back up again, kind of like you would do a back stitch for a couple of times. There you go. And that, as you can see, the holes are definitely smaller than they were before. And if you pulled it even tighter, you can make them even smaller. If you also had a longer tail, that would help too. I didn't make the tail as long as I should have, but you got the idea. Now we take the second color, which is the lighter pink, and we're going to do round 2. They say to start in a chain 2 space. They're always starting in the one on the left. I always start, for some reason, the one on the right. It doesn't matter which one you start in because the finished product will be the same. Let me get some yarn. Make it a lot easier if I already got some yarn out. So now it says join B, which in my case is the lighter pink, into the last chain 2 space made. But I don't do that, I always do this one. But you can do that one, either one is fine. So this one or this one, they both work out the same. And then you chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, chain 2, in the next chain 2 space. So that'll give you this. Evidently they're going this direction. I'm going this direction, but both ways work just fine. So let me grab my yarn. And do 2 chains, because that is my first chain. So 1, 2, so there's my 3 chains. Now you do 2 double crochets in this same chain 2 space, because that would be this right here. Then it says to chain 2, skip this, don't pretend like this isn't here, just do 3 double crochets. So chain 2, if you go in my direction. Now you can go their direction by turning your work over, but I like to have everything facing forward when I can. So I got 3 double crochets, chain 2. Now we're in the corner, so we do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and here we do 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. And that's what it says here, 3 doubles in next chain 2 space, chain 2 twice. So you go back and do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and that gives you this corner. Sometimes it's written really simple, sometimes they kind of write it a little more complicated, and since this lady has put the chart here, it really makes it a lot easier, because you can always refer to the chart if the wording doesn't make sense, which happens once in a while. You can read and reread and read and reread, and it still doesn't make sense, and then 2 days later, oh, light bulb goes off, now it makes sense. Or if you can see a chart, that helps too. I got to do 1 more double crochet, and this corner is done. Chain 2. As you can see, we got a nice corner. Now we're going to go to this one and do the same thing. Double crochet 3 times, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in the same space. That gives us our corner. I got a chain 2, and we're still in the same spot. We want to do 3 double crochets, and then chain 2. Now we're in the next space where we do 3 double crochets. This is similar to our regular granny squares that we started off with the classic. It's just instead of being square, it's a rectangle, but it's basically the same pattern, just done. The beginning is slightly different, and that's what caused it to be a rectangle. Now right here is where I had my chain 1. You can see it's almost the same size as the chain 2, but if I did a chain 2 there, it would have been even bigger. It's just, I know my work, so I'm not surprised that I need to chain 1 there. You can experiment. If it looks too big, you can always take it down to a chain 1. If it looks just right, leave it as a chain 2. Now we're going to do the corner, where we have 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Now what I'm doing on this round is what you do for the last 2 rounds, and we'll get both of them started, and then I'll pause the video while I do the mundane in between, which you are seeing here, and then I'll pick it back up again just before I finish each of the rounds, and then we'll talk a little bit about the jacket, because that's the whole purpose of doing this particular one, is for that baby jacket. I fell in love with the jacket. I knew I had to make it. It's not done yet. I've got a good start on it. I didn't exactly follow her pattern, but it's close. Okay, so now I'm back to my chain 1 instead of 2, and I slip stitch in the top of the chain 3. And then trim it. Now we're going to finish it off on the back like we did before. And this one is finished off just a little bit different because we're not tightening and making little rings there. Instead, we'll go, see, this is the front. I want to go in this one, so I turn it over and go in that one, go down the stitch and over to the side. Then I like to go over through the bottom and then kind of come up this side a little bit. And it makes a nice finish on the back and you don't see it on the front. Now we're going to do roughly the same thing with the second tail. But since it's already at the bottom, we want to go through the bottom and then up the first stitch. And now it's time. Next time I won't trim it. I'll let you see how both of the tails come up. But as you can see, it weaves in really good and you can't see it, which makes it great. All right, so now we're finished with round 2. Now we're going to do round 3, which is the darker pink. We grab some yarn out. Just easier if I have some yarn available. Okay, same thing. I start in the same one. They say to start here. I like to start here. Personal preference, it doesn't affect the work. You still have to do the same amount of stitches in each of the chain 2 spaces. So there's my start, like I showed you a couple of videos back. Then we chain 2. Okay, then it's 2 double crochets. As you can see it here. Here's the chain 3, and there's your 2 double crochets. Chain 2, and then you're doing the corner. For us, I'm starting here. So this is my chain 2 doubles, 2 chains, and then 3 doubles before I start the corner. But both ways work. Okay, let me chain 2. You don't want to catch this thread because we're going to weave this in later. 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Then we do 2 chains. We make 3 more doubles in the next chain 2 space. It's all written down, but I'm not showing you that part because we basically did it on the first round, so now we're going to do it on this round. Chain 2. Now we're at the corner, we do the same thing. 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles in that corner. And that gives us another corner. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and in the same chain 2 space, do 3 more doubles. So we make our corner. And we're going to chain 2, 3 doubles in this chain 2 space. And then we're going to chain 2, do 3 doubles in this space, chain 2, 3 more doubles in the same space because this is our next corner. Okay, now we're going to chain 2, do our other 3 to make our corner. Okay, and then you continue down the side just like you have been doing and around the other corner, so I'll meet you at the other end.